Hi, I'm Dhali, and welcome to the Zone. Today's practice is part one of the Progressive Vidatha Downchill series. This is a great practice to help unwind after your daily activities or a busy day at work. Practice will help to balance out the stresses of your daily life and calm down your nervous system. You'll need a mat and a couple of blocks. Let's get started. Starting today's class, bring the palms together in front of your chest. Our first position will be Janushirasana. For those of you that can't sit up straight, grab a block, place it underneath the sit bones, and this will enable you to tilt forward. With our palms together in front for the chest, we're going to turn our torsos to the right side, and as we do so, we're going to draw the heel of the right leg up towards the groin like so. Without touching the right foot, turn, lining up the navel through the inside of your left leg. From here, we're going to place the palms onto the floor. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Then pull the palms back in towards the body to give you lift out of your groins. Draw the shoulder blades back and down. And then from here, we seduce the body into our forward fold, taking the left eyebrow towards our left shin bone. Gradually, we'll move into the pose, extending through the crown of the head to elongate the spine. Watch out for the rounding of the spine here. We want to keep the front of the body from the pubic bone to the base of the throat as long as possible. So palms pull back to keep that elongation. Then gently seduce the body down. You may get to the elbows. With my elbows on the floor, I still apply the pressure of pulling the palms back towards the body. This enables that lift out of the groins. I pause here a few breaths. I wait for the muscle structure to soften before I start to walk the hands a little further. Now this may be enough for you. Then from here I can take the hands a little further forward. Some of you may be able to grab the feet and interlock the fingers. For those that have the feet, I lift the chest up away from the thighs, creating space once again in the groin. I lift my left sitting bone and I pull the left heel slightly back into the body. I place it down and I lower the body all the way down. My shoulders are relaxed. The throat lifts into the back of the neck. And the face retracts up into the back of the skull to further elongate the spine. Think of drawing your shoulder blades back down towards the kidneys, away from your ears. For those of you that have a little bit of tightness through the back of the leg, you can bend the left leg. You can either place a block underneath the back of the leg or a rolled up blanket. Stay with the 4 parts of your breathing cycle. Then slowly bring the palms together, sitting upright. As we exhale, we're going to twist now our torsos round to the right side and lower the palms to the floor. From here, we're going to pull the palms back in towards the body to sit up nice and tall out of our sit bones. Then we're going to extend our left arm forward, placing the hand either onto the shin bone. Some of you may be able to grab the heel. From here, we sit up nice and tall to lengthen through the left side of the waist. We extend out with the right arm. We internally rotate the right arm and place the hand into the small of the back. Now we need to adjust the head and neck. The throat draws into the back of the neck, and I want to work at keeping an even length through both sides of the neck. I do so by adjusting the tilt of the head. If you look at the angle of your spine, you have to adjust the neck to make sure that the head is in a correct alignment. As you inhale, to absorb the breath, you soften. In the retention of breath, I sit up out of the sitting bones, and as I exhale, from the navel turning, I take the bridge of the nose towards my right ear. I release on the inhale. I sit up in the retention of breath, and then as I exhale, I turn. internally rotating the left arm. I inhale, I slowly release. I sit up in retention of breath, exhale, turn. Now from here, we're going to transition to the opposite side. So as I inhale, I bring the palms together in front of the chest. As I exhale, extend the heel away. Straight away, inhale, twist the body, take the heel up towards the groin. Turn back, aligning the midline of the body with the inside this time of the right thigh. Place the palms onto the floor. Pull the palms back towards you to give you lift out of the groins. Remember to keep from the pubic bone to the base of the throat as long as possible. From here, draw the throat into the back of the neck, then slowly start to seduce the body forward. You may take a few breaths to get the elbows to the floor. As I mentioned, for those with tight legs, you can allow the leg to bend like so, and you may grab a block and place the block under the back of the leg like so. Let the breath be steady and comfortable. We have a 4-part breathing cycle. All the breathing is done in and out through the nose, so you keep the mouth very softly closed. Imagine that you're sipping that inhalation through a tiny tube or straw through the nostrils into the body, filling up from inside to out. For those that can reach the foot, you interlock the fingers, lift the chest, create length, lift that right sitting bone, draw the right heel back slightly, and then lower the body down. So with that inhalation, you're absorbing the breath into the body. The second part of the breath is the retention, where you hold the breath in for a second or two. Let the exhalation leave the body over the back of the throat and out through the nostrils, and then hold the breath out for a second or two to complete the 4 parts of the breath. Work at keeping the length of inhale and exhale the same. Soften the shoulders, draw the shoulders back and down towards your kidneys. Then we'll transition to the twist. Slowly as you inhale, bring the palms together. We're going to twist the body around to our left side, place both palms onto the floor, pull the palms back to sit up, take the hand onto the inside of the shin bone or grab the heel, extend out with your left arm, internally rotate and place the palm down. Now I sit up out of my sitting bones. I adjust, drawing the throat into the back of the neck, this time taking the bridge of the nose towards my left ear. As I inhale, I slightly uncoil from the twist to give the body some space to draw the breath in. Then I sit up in retention, and then as I exhale, I turn. Inhale, slowly soften, uncoil, sit up, retention, exhale. I want you to think of lengthening through the right side of the waist by lifting the right armpit up towards the ceiling. Keep the breath smooth, thin and long. One more breath. As you inhale next, bring the palms together in front of the chest, and as you exhale, extend the left heel away. Next pose, Paschimottanasana. If you find it difficult to fold forward, this is where we place the block underneath the back of the legs, like so. I'm going to take the palms to the floor. I want you to work at squeezing the inside of the legs, the thighs, the calves, and the feet, even if they don't reach together. Spread the fingers wide, pull the palms back towards you to create lift out of the front of the groin. And then from here, slowly seduce the muscle structure in the back and the back of the hamstring so you can fold forward and down. Once again, in this forward bend, we want to keep from the top of the pubic bone to the base of the throat nice and long. So we're not rounding through the back like so. We use the palms to pull back in to keep that elongation. Okay, for those of you that can fold a little deeper, you slowly start to walk the hands forward. You may be able to grab the heels like so. We start by lifting the right knee slightly up to create space underneath the back of the leg, just to enable the body to slowly seduce into the pose. Then I change. I lower the right leg down and I lift the left up. I pause here for a couple of breaths. Then I change sides. I lift the back of the right knee off the floor. And once again, then I'll change, lifting the back of the left knee up. Getting into the forward bend this way enables you to get the length through the back of the legs. But now soften the shoulders. Think of retracting the face up into the back of the skull and drawing the throat into the back of the neck. With the feet, work at drawing the little toe side of the feet back towards you. Wherever you get to is enough for today. One more breath. Then slowly, as you inhale, bring the palms together and start to raise the torso. We're going to transition to lying onto the back. So you'll place the palms down onto the floor. We're going to draw the right leg up like so, but we shuffle the buttock a little bit forward, making sure you've got enough space to lie down. We're going to interlock the fingers just below the kneecap. We're going to control the body to lower down by pushing the shin bone forward. Let the foot come off the floor until the arm's straight. Now the key here is to keep that left heel onto the floor. So we tuck the buttock under, rolling and rounding through the spine. And from here, keep pushing the shin bone forward as you lower the body down into Supta Ekapada Apanasana. Okay. Once you're lying on the floor, tuck the buttock under to flatten the lower part of your back. We press the shin bone up towards the ceiling with about 5% of your effort. Then the hands with about 5% of your effort pull down into the shin bone. The last little adjustment in this pose is to press the sitting bone of your right leg down towards the left heel. This will help just to balance out the hips. Now for most of you, the left straight leg has externally rotated. So as best you can, internally rotate the left leg. It's quite difficult to get this right. Now that we're lying on the floor, use the back as a guide to expand the inhalation up into the back of the body. One more breath, take an inhale. And then as you exhale, keep that right leg bent, but lower the foot to the floor. Now take the hands at shoulder height, palms facing down. Pause here. As we inhale, we're going to lift the hips off the floor, and we're going to take the hips as far as we can towards the right, then drop the buttock back down. Extend through the heel of the left leg, and then from here, we're going to roll all the way over to the left side. We hook the big toe of our right leg behind the back of our left knee. We press the right sitting bone down towards the left heel. This will help to even you out through your hips. Okay, we'll just continue to look up for now. I apply a little bit of a pressure with the palm pulling down into my right knee. So if you haven't, the left hand is placed on top of the right knee. The right knee then presses up into the left hand to meet, and it's only about 5% of your effort here. For the more experienced people, we lift the back of the head off the floor. Then we take the head as far as we can towards the left, and we lower the head to the floor. From here, then we're going to turn the head to look towards the right palm. It's called Jatara Parivriti. You can also use some blocks or a bolster if required to place underneath the knee of the bent leg and stay in this pose a little bit longer just to help unwind the spine. Work at keeping the length of the inhale, the exhale the same. And remember the pauses or the retention in between each inhale and exhale is only a second or two. Okay, to transition to the other side, release the left palm and place the left palm flat onto the floor. Tuck the buttock under and roll onto the spine. Adjust the hips back into the center. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, straighten out the right leg. From here, tuck the chin into the chest, come back up to sitting, bend the left leg, interlock the fingers just below the kneecap on the left side. Push that left shin bone forward, let the arm straighten, tuck the chin in and tuck your buttock under. Keeping your right heel on the floor this time, lower the body down. Okay, work at internally rotating the right leg. Pressing that left sitting bone down towards the right heel. Shoulders are soft. Shin bones pressing up to meet the hands. The hands are pulling only with that 5% effort, shin bone down towards the floor. Bring your awareness to breathing into the back of the body. Just like the doctor placing the stethoscope on the back and asking you to take a deep breath. Use the floor as a reference to breathe into the back. Okay, taking one more breath, nice slow inhale. Exhale the breath out fully. Release the grip of the fingers. Keep the left leg bent, lowering it down to the floor. Place the palms at shoulder height. From here, take an inhale, lift the buttock off the floor. Move the hips as far as you can towards your left, drop them down. Okay, hooking the toe of the bent leg behind the back of the knee of your right leg. Then slowly twist the body towards the right. This time using the right hand as the lever, placing it on top of that left knee. Push down through the heel of the right leg, pressing that left sitting bone down towards the right heel. Pausing here. And for the more experienced people, lifting the back of head off the floor, moving your head as far as you can towards the right, and then turning the head to look towards the left palm. Stay with the 4 parts of the breath. Each time I inhale, I release out of the depth of the twist to give the body some space to draw the breath in. Then as I exhale, I slightly pull the knee a little bit closer to the floor. You can even close the eyes. Minimize the effort here. And one more breath, taking an inhale. Exhale. To transition out of the pose, release the right hand, place it onto the floor. Take an inhale as you tuck the buttock under, rolling onto the back. Adjust the hips back into the center. From here, take an inhale as you exhale, straighten out the left leg. Slowly transition back up to sitting as you inhale. Bring the palms together in front of the chest. From here, place the palms onto the floor, bend the legs. Take your feet hip width apart. Take the buttock forward towards the heels and lower yourself down. From here, I tuck the buttock under, rounding through the base of the spine. I lift the head up and tuck the chin into the chest, then slowly place the head back down. As I inhale, I press down through the heels. I press into the palms to let the hips come up. Remember, we've tilted the pelvis to tuck the buttock under here. I'll get up to a certain height, then I can tuck the shoulders under one at a time, drawing the shoulder blades in towards one another. I keep the throat relaxed into the back of the neck. I keep pressing my shin bones forward and down. We take weight through the bone structure of the legs. So from the knees, I press down into my heels. The breath should be comfortable and steady. Slowly, one more breath, taking an inhalation, retention of breath. As you exhale, we're going to start to lower down. We release the shoulder blades away. I let the heels come off the floor and I slowly roll down through each vertebra until my buttock is on the floor. Pause here. As we inhale next, we're going to interlock the fingers behind the back of the head. We pause there as we exhale. Taking an inhalation into the body, I relax. And as I exhale, I slowly lift the head and shoulders off the floor. But don't let the arms come up like so. Keep the elbows out wide. As I inhale, I circle the arms to grab the back of the legs. As I exhale, I sink the navel towards the spine. On my inhalation, I circle the arms, interlock the fingers behind the back of the head. I relax the head into the hands. And as I exhale, I lower down. We rest as we inhale. As we exhale, we're lifting up. On the inhale, grab the back of the legs. As you exhale, sink the navel towards the spine. Inhale, interlock the fingers behind the head. Exhale, lower to the floor. Resting on the inhalation. Exhale, lifting up. Inhale, grabbing the back of the legs. Exhale, sink the belly towards the floor. Inhale, circle, interlock the fingers behind the back of the head. Exhale to lower down. Two more. Take an inhalation, resting. Exhale to lift up. Inhale, grab the back of the legs. Exhale, sink the navel. Inhale. Exhale to lower down. One more. We're not lifting very high. Take an inhale, resting. Exhale. Inhale, grabbing the back of the legs. Exhale, sink the navel towards the spine. Inhale, interlock. Exhale, lower down. Pause there. From here, lift the feet off the floor. Cross the ankles. We're going to transition to lying onto our belly. To do so, we lift the heels up nice and high so the buttock comes up. Then we want to squeeze the heels in towards the buttock as I throw the hands forward, transitioning into a push-up position. I lift up with the buttock, step the feet back, and lower myself down. Okay, Salabhasana. From here, we want to turn, place the palms onto the floor, fingers spread nice and wide, lower the forehead to the floor. Before we lift up, stretch the toes away. Make the legs poker stiff by pressing the top of the feet into the floor. Slowly transition as we inhale. Lift the head, lift the legs, but keep looking down at your mat. We don't want to lift the legs too high. Think of extending from the navel down into the toes, and then from the navel all the way up through the crown of the head. exhale, lower down. Tuck the toes under. Place the palms up underneath the shoulders. From here, we're going to press up into push-up position. Drop the knees forward and down. Bring the feet together. Slowly drop the buttock back, lowering the forehead to the floor. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Pause here. If it's too strong for the shoulders, you simply slide the hands towards the head, bringing thumbs and index. From here, we're going to transition to lying onto the back to Supta Baddha Konasana. So as you inhale, lift the buttock up off the heels. Cross the feet behind you. Slide the hands back so the fingertips are back behind the knees. Take weight, keeping your arms straight, and lift the knees off the floor. Let the feet slide through. Straighten out the legs, take the palms flat to the floor, lift the buttock up and draw the buttock forward towards your heels. Bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees come up off the floor so you can lie down comfortably. Once the lower part of the spine is on the floor, let the knees drift out to the side, lowering the back of the hands down. Now, once again, we're lying on the floor on the back. So use the back as a reference point to expand the breath into the back of the body. Can you feel the lower back flattening as you draw the breath all the way down towards the kidneys? Keep reducing the effort. Allow the weight of the bone structure to sink into the floor. Now the next pose, Ardha Matsyendrasana, the seated twist. From here we're going to push the heels together, use the hands to draw the knees up together. Tuck the chin into the chest, cross the feet, rock forward and sit upright. So this time slide the buttock backwards as we straighten out the legs. From here we're going to take a block and we're going to place the block underneath the buttock. We bend the legs and sit up onto the block. Okay. From here we're going to bend our right leg and take the right foot up over the top of your left. By placing the buttock, the block underneath the buttock, it just gives us some height to access the twist without the compression of the lower back. Okay. So from here I'm going to interlock the fingers around the kneecap. I pull the kneecap back in towards the chest and you'll see what happens here. That the chest moves close to the thighs but the spine actually elongates. Keeping my fingers interlocked, I'm going to circle, taking the inner elbow just underneath the kneecap like so. And we're just going to stay here and then release the right hand to the floor. So you can see the spine is nice and elongated. As I inhale, I relax the body, giving the body space to absorb the inhalation. Then in the retention of breath, I sit up out of the block, and as I exhale, I take the bridge of the nose towards the right ear. As I inhale, I soften, and I'm looking back towards the toes of the straight leg. Are they pointing directly vertical, or has the leg externally rotated? I adjust. I sit up nice and tall, and as I exhale, I turn. Think of turning the eyes into the corner of your eye socket as you exhale. You want to internally rotate that right bicep, to take the scapula from jamming in towards the spine, so you can actually turn the palm like so. If the muscles in the face are hardening, then you're trying to twist too far. You're twisting from the head rather than from your center. Okay, we're going to change sides. As we inhale, we turn back towards a straight leg. As I exhale, I take the right leg out in front. Inhale, swapping sides. Interlock the fingers. As you inhale, pull the shin bone in towards the chest. Adjust, taking the inner elbow around just underneath the kneecap. Then release the left hand to the floor. Internally rotate the left arm. Take an inhale, sit up nice and tall in the retention. And as you exhale, take the bridge of the nose towards the left ear. You want to think of twisting without using your arms. It's crucial that you keep the sole of the left foot flat on the floor. If you're losing contact with the pad of the big toe on the left foot, then you're losing the integrity of your twist. Softening on the inhale, absorbing the breath. Retention, sit up, and then as you exhale, turning. To turn the head a little further, retract the face into the back of the skull. You'll find you can turn just a few more degrees. Then as you inhale, retract the face into the back of the skull a little further. And as you exhale, you can turn a little further into the pose. One more breath. Slowly release on your inhale. As you exhale, palms to the floor, stretch the legs out in front. From here, we're going to lift up and place the sitting bones onto the floor, taking the feet hip width apart. For the last pose for today is called swastikasana. From here, we're going to use the blocks as a guide. So I'm going to bend the legs and slide, taking the left ankle directly underneath the back of the kneecap. I want the sole of the foot to be vertical here. So I use the block so I can keep the pad of the big toe and the heel in contact with the block. I lean back into the hands and cross, taking the heel out as wide as the opposite knee. Here's where the other block comes into play. As I look down, the heels are to be as wide as the opposite kneecaps. The heels and the pad of the big toe are to press firmly into the blocks. Okay, I might need to adjust my sitting bones either to the right or left, so I'm square. Okay, then from here, place the palms onto the floor. Pull the palms back towards you to get you lift. Remember, it's a forward fold, so we want to create lift from the top of the pubic bone to the base of the throat. Draw the shoulder blades back and down. Now, think of pressing your thigh bones out to the sides away to create space in your hip socket. Then gently walk the palms forward and down. Now, for those of you that might be a little stiff, you can use the block and place the block underneath the forehead like so. For those that have the movement, you might want to get a little stretch out of the shoulders. So I lift up onto the tips of the fingers. This gives me some space for the center of the armpit to drop down. Or the palms are flat onto the floor. Remembering that posture is steady and comfortable. And slowly walk the palms back. Swapping sides. Take the blocks out a little. Take the hands behind. Before you swap side, just check which leg you've crossed underneath first. Okay, ankle underneath the back of the knee. Use the block, sole of the foot parallel with the outside of the thigh. Hands back behind you, adjust, taking the heel out as wide as your opposite leg. Use the block again. The shin bones should be parallel with each other and parallel with the small edge of the mat. Press the pad of the big toe and the heels into your blocks, palms in front. Look at the fingers, spread the fingers nice and wide. Pull the palms back towards you to give you that lift out of the groin. And then gently and slowly seduce the body forward. If you need to, once again, we're placing the block underneath the forehead like so. You can allow the breath to resume back to its natural flow. From effort, we're giving the body time and space to surrender. You can either finish the class here, or for those of you that would like to take Shavasana, in your own time, you can slowly walk the palms back. Take the legs out in front, feet hip width apart, and lower your body down. Nice work. Simply allow the bone structure to merge into the floor. That's enough for today.